Pastors, we know that you are working crazy hours. You are wearing multiple hats. You are filling so many roles and job descriptions, and for the most part, not complaining, or at least trying not to complain. On top of everything that you are being asked to do or find just falling in your lap, you have to plan, prepare, and preach a compelling message every single week. Luke, have you ever resonated with what I just described?
Every week, man. Every week. Someone described once that preaching is like having an oral exam every week, only someone's bringing friends to watch. You put that with all the pressures you talked about. Yeah, it's a heavy burden, and it's a hard thing, especially if you're trying to carry it alone.
If you are carrying it alone, we want to invite you to join us for this, the Preaching Through podcast, where every week we will take a look at topics, conversations, themes, and scriptures you are expected to preach through and provide a little bit more context and conversation around each of those. What are some of the things that you'd like to talk about?
We'll talk about preaching through the Old Testament, preaching through the Gospels, some of the mechanics of how to preach certain sorts of sermons. We're also going to talk about preaching through different seasons, election seasons. We'll talk about how to preach through big cultural events that happen, and now you got to figure out how to respond. We'll also talk about how to preach through different things that are going on in your own life. There's the mechanics and the skills of preaching. There's also the situation you find yourself in, either as a church or just yourself individually. And all of that comes into the pulpit. All of that comes in your leadership. And we want to be one voice to try to provide some encouragement and some help.
And we look forward to releasing episode 1 of the Preaching Through podcast. We'll see you then, Luke.